It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso, right here on S3. Thanks for joining us at the start of a brand new day. Now we're continuing our health talk this Health Tuesday, and some of you might be or might know that uncomfortable feeling of being lactose intolerant. It causes cramps and bloating, upset stomach, and even nausea sometimes. And some of you may not even be aware that you are lactose intolerant. And here to shed some light on the matter is Dr. Michele Venzaghi, who I've really enjoyed tapping into your wealth of knowledge when it comes to exercise and, of course, our diet, as well as we're cooking in the kitchen.
Absolutely, yeah.
So let's focus on being lactose intolerance and maybe define that for those who might not know all about it. What exactly is it, and how does one become lactose intolerant?
So I think it's probably an expanding topic in the world at the moment, and a lot more people are starting to understand what lactose intolerance is, especially with milk alternatives coming out. I think there's, you know, the only way to diagnose lactose intolerance is to kind of remove it from the diet and then to see that this person has improvement in their symptoms. Mm-hmm. There are other expensive avenues like breath tests and stuff like that, but you know, that's kind of foreign to us at this point. So lactose intolerance essentially has two avenues. The one is where you get symptoms when you eat lactose. So anything that's lactose containing, you know, most dairy products have a lot of lactose, and then you get gastrointestinal upset, and we call that an intolerance to lactose. Mm-hmm. The other one is more of an asymptomatic disease where you don't really know it, but your body doesn't have lactase, which is the enzyme that breaks down lactose, in order to make it something that we can use or utilize in our bodies for calcium and vitamin D and those things. Yes. So there are two avenues. The one that we probably focus on more is the one that creates symptoms, because, you know, milk is such a big part of our diets. We drink a lot of coffee, we drink a lot of milk in our coffees, and we eat cereal with milk and everything. So it is
a lot of things that you just enjoy on the daily.
Yeah.
Incidentally, you know, it's a hot day and you feel like just having a quick little ice cream to cool you down. There's dairy in that. There's
absolutely.
Your favorite yogurt snack or whatever it might be. Yeah.
They all contain quite high quantities of lactose. So, I mean, lactose intolerance is not something that happens to someone because of what they do. It's sort of a, I don't want to say genetic, but it's an inherent thing. You know, you've got a predisposition to not having that enzyme in your body. Mm. It's not something that you do or provoke through lifestyle. It is something that...
So you're born that way then?
You're born that way. Sometimes it develops later in life. Physiologically, it's quite complicated, but some people are born with it, and then as children, they'll have those symptoms. Some people develop the symptoms later in life.
And that might then also be the case that as a child, your parents might overlook it because, you know, a child's immune system is still being developed. You're still getting used to different kinds of food. So let's wait it out. Meanwhile, you've been lactose intolerant all your life, and it just wasn't seen yet. And then you kind of, as you said, can only really know once you remove that element out of your diet and you see the difference. Let's talk about the symptoms. Perhaps if you have been one of those people and you've gotten used to just living with it, but there are moments of discomfort. What are you looking for as markers to go, maybe I should look into this?
So I think that's, like you touched on it, you know, we can't really ever exist in a parallel universe. So we don't know how it feels to be optimized until we are optimized, right? Mm-hmm. So I always say, like, you know, if you have any gastrointestinal problems, so if you're having constipation or diarrhea, if you feel bloated a lot of the time, if you feel nauseous, or you just feel like you don't have a good appetite, or, you know, you'll know when you have gastrointestinal problems. Mm. Anything to do with the gastrointestinal tract, I would suggest taking lactose out of your diet completely for 7 days. Give yourself 7 days, remove it from your diet. There are beautiful alternatives out there. Replace the things that have lactose in your diet with lactose-free options and see how you feel. Even if you don't feel like you have overt symptoms, just, you know, test the waters. See how it feels to be lactose-free. Mm-hmm. And if you feel a significant improvement, then just cut it out of your diet. We have supplemented products nowadays. This is a really nice product. It's got vitamin D, it's got calcium, which are the things that people who cut out lactose usually lose, because a lot of lactose-containing products have vitamin D and calcium in them.
Yes, exactly. And
so
you
they
don't
cut them
out on that.
And then they miss out on that. So you got to look for substitutes. You have to find other ways to sort of supplement your diet with those things.
Yeah. So as it stands right now in the medical field, is there an existing treatment for being lactose intolerant, or is it, as you've just described now, about taking it out of the diet and then maybe slowly introducing small amounts here and there where you really feel like treating yourself? What are some of the developments happening in that field right now?
So in first world countries, you know, there are some developments in terms of lactase supplementation.
Right.
It's extremely expensive.
Yes.
And I think that in our setting, a much more practical approach or healthcare advice would just be to remove it from your diet. And like you said, it doesn't mean that you can never have lactose, right? You can incrementally add small quantities of lactose into your diet. You can even still have small quantities of lactose quite regularly, just given the symptoms that you have. And this is a spectrum of disease, right? There's mild, there's moderate, and there's severe, depending on where you fall in that spectrum.
Yeah, and ultimately, we have a wonderful product that can absolutely take care of it. So thank you very, very much, Dr. Benzaki. And of course, if you do find yourself suffering from lactose intolerance, then of course, CLOVER NOLAC, or NOLAC from CLOVER is there and is pre-treated with an enzyme that breaks down any lactose, making it easier to digest, which then means you can enjoy dairy again. And with the added calcium and the vitamin D that the good doctor was referring to, it offers a delicious creamy taste that can be enjoyed with anything. NOLAC, be free with lactose free.
Made with love by Clover.